Hi everyone, John here from All Miniatures Great and Small. Today we're going to be doing an unboxing and review of the Flames of War Armored Rifle Platoon. This is a mid-war release, so it coincides with the Fighting First source book for the Americans in mid-war in version 4. We'll specify version 4. So this is a new release. They have had Armored Rifle Platoons before, but this Armored Rifle Platoon is all plastic, has plastic M3 half-tracks, and if you're familiar with American equipment, the M3 half-track is what you get in mid-war, the M5 half-track is what you find in late-war lists. So they are slightly different, and one of the reasons why I picked up this box. Now, what you get here is an Armored Rifle Platoon. If you don't know American Armored Rifle Platoons, they are huge. And the box is a good-sized box. You're paying for 5 half-tracks as well as a platoon of infantry, so it's 48 plastic figures. So everything in this box is plastic. This retails for $58. You probably would be able to find it cheaper at some online realtors, but that's what you get. But you get a lot of plastic for it. So let's open it up and take a look at what we get. Let's check out the back of the box. So on the back of the box we have a exploded diagram of how to assemble our M3 half-track. We have some options: M3 half-track with a 50 cal, M3 half-track with a 30 cal machine gun, and contents over here: 5 plastic half-tracks, 5 plastic half-track crew sprues, 2 plastic infantry sprues, 1 decal sheet, 2 unit cards. So let's go ahead and open this up and take a look. Okay, so we've opened it up. So, like we said, the box is packed full of goodies. You have the bases and the decal sheet. Lots of yellow stars. And if you guys don't know the history of that, the yellow stars were kind of a low visibility. They tried out in Africa and ended up not liking because they turned out they were a little bit too hard to see, so they went back to white stars shortly thereafter. But having yellow stars definitely gives your mid-war Americans a different feel from your late war. Then you have 2 unit cards. We'll take a look at these a little bit closer in a minute. And then all the plastic we get. So, looks like we have plastic half-track sprues. These are molded in a olive drab already, so the typical color of the Americans. Looks like we get 5 full sprues of those. And again, there's no instructions in the box, but on the back of the box we do have our exploded diagram of how we build it. So it doesn't look too complicated. I mean, you're gluing the wheels and the tracks on the front, but there's, this is the main hull piece. See if we can take a little bit closer look at this. So lots of nice detail. We will, I'll build one of these so you can take a look at it. What I don't like is these connection points are up here at the top of the half-track. So if you make any kind of mistake in snipping or cutting these off the frame, you're going to damage the model in a spot that's very visible. But careful removal will prevent that from happening. It's very cool. Inside the compartment, you've got the chairs there. Grating on the floor. Very nice. And I like that Battlefront does this. Notice that we get 2 30 cals and 2 50 cals per vehicle, because any Flames of War player knows your 50 cals, your 30 cals, all these machine guns break off constantly. You're always gluing them back, so having extras is always great. Before every tournament it seems like I'm always gluing machine guns back on all my vehicles. So that's pretty cool. So you get 5 of these because you can have 5 M3 half-tracks in the platoon. if you take it full size. Then we get plastic, and this is actually my first look at Battlefront plastics, infantry that is. And normally I'm a big fan of the metal, but these look good. So you get two identical sprues, so there is some duplication of pose. But let's see if we can get a close up here, get it in focus. Standing bazooka, kneeling bazooka, M1s, Thompson. There's a 60mm mortar. This is the LMG team. Very nice detail on these guys. The faces are a big improvement over the Battlefront metal. Very cool looking. Alright, so you get two of these, 48 figures, which is cool. Then we have here, this is the plastic half-track crew sprues. You get 5 of these. They're jammed in here pretty tight. Basically, each sprue looks like it has 5 guys. Very cool. So not enough to like fully load up your half-track with troops, but enough to make it look like they're not deserted anyway. So you get 5 of these sprues as well, so you've got guys for each one of your half-tracks. Alright, now let's take a look at the cards. Now I know we talked a little bit about this unit in our Fighting First review, but we'll go over here in case you didn't watch it and don't want to watch it, and see what we get as far as cards. So here we have 2 cards. We get one for the platoon itself, and then one for the half-tracks. The half-track, sorry, the Armored Rifle Platoon card shows us they have an infantry unit, they are an observer, they are hit on a 3, so that is equivalent of trained in the previous version. Their skill is green, so they are making skill tests on a 5+. You're not going to count on these guys to make a lot of moves using their skill. Their motivation is confident, however they rally on a 3+. They have a determined rally. And this is one of those things where version 4 has a granularity to it that version 3 did not. So their motivation is 4+ usually, but when they rally on a 3+. They don't need a special rule for it. It's just right on his card. 3+ save, like all infantry, their movement and their weapons. So in the Armored Rifle Platoon you have the Garand teams, you have the bazooka teams, you have the light machine gun teams, and a 60mm mortar. You pretty much have the tools for everything. You know, this platoon has a little bit of everything. Lot of infantry, lots of anti-tank, 5 bazooka teams if you max it out, 2 light machine gun teams, and a 60mm mortar. So you could pin you know, someone before attacking, which is cool. Then on the back you have the breakdown. If you go 15 points, you can get a full Armored Rifle Platoon. That's 6 rifle teams plus the 5 bazookas we mentioned earlier. And then you get 5 half-tracks, 1 with the 50 cal and 4 with 30 cals. Or you can take a short platoon, only 4 half-tracks, and it cuts down on the rifle and bazooka teams. Special rules. Assault 6, the mortar team just is very terrible in assault. It only hits on a 6. Heavy weapons teams cannot charge into contact, so that's your light machine guns. Observer, the unit leader can spot for any friendly artillery unit, and slow firing, which I think the bazookas have, which is +1 to hit if they move. So there you go. That is the Armored Rifle Platoon card. Then you have the M3 half-track card as well. And here we have, the M3 is not that great. It's a front armor 1, 0 armor on the sides and top. It is trained green, just like the troops inside. Tactical and terrain dash are the same at 10 inches. Cross-country dash is 18, and roads a whopping 32 inches. Cross-check is a 4+. And then you've got your 50 cal or 30 cal, depending on what you've got, and then optional passenger-fired machine gun. That rule comes into effect if the half-tracks that are carrying light machine gun teams. So over here on the back side we have transport attachment, so it tells you what they could attach to. M3 Armored Rifle Platoon, or 37mm Armored Anti-Tank Platoon, or Armored Machine Gun Platoon. The special rules for this card, we've got MG Transport, so any light machine gun or heavy machine gun teams may fire while mounted as passenger machine guns. Passengers 3, so each half-track can carry up to 3 stands. Tractor, self-defense AA, and unit transport. Unit leader must end the movement step within 6 of the unit leader of its passenger unit while on the table. So these guys cannot go ahead and run off and fight once they're empty. They got to stick around. So there you go, guys. That is the look at the cards. All right, so I built an M3 half-track just so you guys can see what it looks like. I clipped this out of the back of the box just so I'd have it as a reference, tell me what I'm building as far as infantry and how to build the half-tracks. The kit went together really well. I was very pleased with how this kit assembled. The model itself, I did not have any assembly issues. Now, if you watched my M3 Lee video, you'll know I talked about there being some seams and being very careful with the assembly, but this model I really did not have any problems assembling. It has kind of a unique thing where this area in here is actually slots down into the empty hull, but once it's glued and painted, you really can't tell at all. And then I did not glue the machine gun. I won't glue the machine gun until I'm pretty much done painting with it. And then this has been base coated with the official Flames of War olive drab spray. But I like it. You get 5 of these in the box, plus a full platoon of armored rifles. It's a great box set. Armored rifles are one of the best units, I think, in mid-war and maybe in the game entirely. So having 1 or more armored rifle platoons is never a bad thing, in my opinion. This M3 half-track is pretty cool. It's a great kit. It assembles quite easily, and you won't be disappointed. I guess the other construction thing is when you glue on the front wheels, you just want to make sure that they are even. It is possible to glue them so that they're at kind of an angle, because when you glue this together you don't want it to wobble, so it's pretty cool. So, but there you go, that's the M3 Lee. That is the so there you go, that is the Armored Rifle Platoon with the M3 half-track and the infantry. I didn't assemble the infantry yet, so you'll have to wait for a future video for that, but I guess you already know, but I'll state it anyway. Do I think the armored rifles are a kit you should go after if you're an American player? Absolutely. Great kit, a lot of fun. So if you have any comments or questions, go ahead and leave them down below. If you like what you saw, go ahead and subscribe and like to the channel. Check us out at All Miniatures Great and Small on Facebook. Thanks for watching, everybody, and keep on wargaming.